As this video is being filmed pre-Melbourne, this weekly has not been neglected, it just hasn't been used yet. Hello again team, it's Jess or JashiiCorrin, and welcome back for my week 4 plan with me. Today I'm going to be setting up for the 20th through to the 26th of January. But as per usual, before we get into that, we're just going to have a look at how this week is going. So, as you can see, it's not. As I mentioned in the intro, I'm filming this before I actually head off to Melbourne, so for me, it's the 6th of January. In the literal 2 minutes that I've had since finishing this week's plan with me and moving on to week 4, I have made one slight change on this spread. If you can figure out what it is, leave it in the comments below. For week 3's layout, however, we have my events list, my running task list, leisure section, mini trackers, and a packing list. And of course, because it's the 6th for me, it hasn't been used just yet. I'm sure it's going to be very full come the end of the 19th. Jumping into week 4 though, as per usual, any of the equipment I use in today's setup is linked in the description box below. As promised, this week I'm going to be answering those remaining questions from my week 2 plan with me. So our first question comes from Marluz. And again, I know we've been over the pronunciation thing, but I keep forgetting, so if I'm getting it wrong, please do let me know. But their question is, what was your favourite and least favourite monthly theme from last year? This one's a bit tricky, because I did really like pretty much all of my monthly themes from last year. The 2 in particular, though, that I'd have to say were my favourites were August with the back to school theme and September with the space theme. August's one I probably liked in particular because I'm a sucker for a rainbow colour palette, and September, I love stars, so that gelled really well with me. In terms of least favourite, that might be January, just because it wasn't really a fully formed theme. Or maybe July, because although the colour palette was something a bit more creative, and I don't necessarily dislike it, it's just probably something I wouldn't normally tend towards. Our next 2 questions I'm going to answer together just because they have a little bit of overlap, and these ones are from Morgan and Courtney. In Courtney's question, she asked, how do you come up with inspiration for different weekly spreads? I tried to use them in my bujo, but I couldn't find an actual spread that was suitable for me. And in Morgan's question, she asked, how do you find inspiration or have the ideas for each spread? And do you plan your layouts a week or 2 before the week starts? So starting with the last question first, for my weekly layouts, I film, edit, and put those up on Thursdays. So because my weeklies start on a Monday, I'm preparing them about 4 days in advance. Is that correct math? Thursday to Friday to Saturday to Sunday to Monday. Yeah, 4 days, roughly. Sometimes I'll have inspiration for the weekly a little bit earlier in the week and I might pencil something out, but for the most part all of the penciling and then the actual filming and editing and uploading of that video happens on the Thursday night. So in terms of inspiration and ideas for my weekly spreads, a lot of this just comes from the fact that I've been bullet journaling for quite a while now. I started back in November of 2016, and since then we've seen the November of 2017, 18, and 19, so I've been bullet journaling for just over 3 years now. In my time with bullet journaling, I have tried a lot of different layouts, and I've gotten really used to what does work well for me and what doesn't. For instance, I know that I like to have a space for each day of the week, so I can write down events. I know I like to have a space for a long-running to-do list, because sometimes the tasks that I need to do don't actually have to go on specific days. So for the most part, when I'm setting up a new weekly spread, I want to make sure to incorporate those elements. But I also don't like stagnancy, I like to try new things. Anytime I'm scrolling through Instagram or Pinterest and I see weeklies that look interesting or look like they could be useful to me, I save them for later. So especially when I'm feeling uninspired or not sure what to do for my weekly, I can go look at those for inspiration. One of the easiest ways I found to make new weeklies is to take one that you know that works for you and just tweak little things. Change the sizing of the boxes, try new styles of decoration, make your headers more or less decorative, add in mini trackers, that kind of stuff. I'll show you later towards the end, but all of the weeklies that I've had for January have pretty much the same elements, but they have different layouts. Obviously, one of these layouts is going to work better for me in general, but making these small changes allows me to see different styles or different ways of fitting the same things together. and of course gives me more insight into what does work and what doesn't work for me. I hope that kind of answers your question. So really, it's just a trial and error thing, having a bunch of experience with trying different styles, and constantly making sure you're collecting inspiration from things like Pinterest and YouTube and Instagram. If finding a weekly spread that really works for you has been difficult, it can be really useful to take a more analytical or reflective approach. So really thinking about which elements of this weekly did get used, what do I feel is missing, what things have frustrated me, what things have I found really helpful, and then taking those ideas and moving forward with them. Looking at ways to solve the problems that you had with the weekly while also retaining the things you found helpful about the weekly. I hope this has been helpful and hasn't been too rambly. If anybody else had any other suggestions about finding inspiration or ideas for weekly spreads though, please do drop them in the comments below. As always, thank you to all of our inquirers. I love getting questions from you guys. If anybody has a question they want answered in next week's Plan With Me, please do drop those in the comments as well. Alrighty, so we have a space for each day of the week, a space for notes, a smaller section for a running task list, my small trackers, and then my leisure section. Having a look through the weeklies we've had for this month so far, there are the same sections in each of them pretty much, but a different layout each time. I am looking forward to reflecting on which one of my weeklies from January has been my favourite. But of course, we're not going to get to do that until week 5 is set up and used. Thank you for watching, team. If you liked today's video, please do make sure to give it a big thumbs up. And if you wanted to see more from me, feel free to go check out one of my other videos. Until next time, bye!